broadcasting to viewers in Liberia and across the globe. Hello and welcome to KMTV News Today. My name is Anthony Kukui. Wherever you're watching us from, we say thanks for joining our news broadcast tonight. Let's take a look at stories making headlines tonight. Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Tuer says government salary harmonization scheme has not been effectuated as been speculated. National Elections Commission declares CDC candidate Abu Kamara winner of the District 15 disputed by-election. We begin the program at the headquarters of the National Elections Commission, where the NEC has officially declared coalition for Democratic Change candidate Abu Kamara as winner of the Moserado County as District 15 by-election. This followed a rerun at 20 polling places as mandated by NEC hearing officer. Addressing the news conference today at the headquarters of the NEC acting chairman Jonathan Wheeler said candidate Abu Kamara obtained 49.7% of the total votes, while his closest rival, Tiala Ure, of the All-Liberian Party, obtained 38.9% of the total votes.
The tally of election results commenced immediately after the closing of polls in District 15, Moserado County, early Wednesday evening. Like the counting of votes, the tally process was done in the full glare of party agents, local international observer groups, and the media. The total 94 polling places are reported. Bio Kevin Morris, independent, 654 votes, 3.7%. Famula Senior Iramo Dauda, vote. That's a political party he comes from, VOLT, 194 votes, that is 1.1%. Frank Bishop's level, independent, 26 votes, 0.1%. Kamara Abu Bana CDC, 8,674 votes, 78 votes, 49.2%. Kamara Naminu Chapi, TWP, 93 votes, 0.5%. Tuboy Junior Amon Yawle, CLP, 1,124 votes, 5.4%. Ure Kelia J, ALP, 6,868 votes, 38.9%. As they constitute the final results, with the power in me vested therefore as acting chairman of the National Elections Commission, I hereby declare Abu Bana Kamara of the Congress for Democratic Change as the winner of the representative by-election in District 15, Moserado County.
Meanwhile, Representative-elect Abu Kamara has thanked his supporters for entrusting him with the authority to represent them at the House of Representatives. Mr. Kamara told residents and journalists that his next task is to unite the people of the district, following a period of confusion between his supporters and the opposition.
All citizens put the test of time. So the people of District 15 have spoken. The task that we have is to unite the district, because this place is one district.
Thank you.
Regardless of whatever the people said during the campaign, but our common denominator is the district and sedition. We put the hands together and embrace all the other people. Nobody lose. Everybody won. But the greater thing that Liberia has spoken, that the victory that delayed, it came finally. The victory that we had, that the people thought that we robbed them off, God has proven it to them. And we did it more than before. I told you all that we were prepared for the reward. Because I know when we did.
Well, also speaking at the home of Mr. Kamara in Logantown last evening, CDC's chairman Moba Molu said the victory is a long march towards the dominant senatorial victory has begun. He said the CDC will never repeat the Montserrado County senatorial election scenario we saw the ruling party losing in its political stronghold.
We want to express our gratitude to all citizens for listening to your party and for being rejuvenated to turn out in mass to demonstrate that the comeback towards 2020 has begun. We send this message to those vacation senators, to those that dare doubt the capacity of the mighty party. The long march towards a dominant senatorial victory in 2020 has begun. CDC today announces that never will there be a repeat of the voter apathy that led to our defeat in this constitutional election in Montserrado. The landslide victory of Abu Bana Kamara in District 15 sends a message of what is to come in 2020. The party must remain united around its core values, its governing philosophical beliefs. We are going towards a great destiny. We are transforming this country. The detractors must not be allowed to mislead you. We are doing more than what they did.
Yes.
They feel this country we will succeed. This party will succeed. And I'm proud that another mess cleaner has just been elected to the House of Representatives to help clean the mess, to move governance forward.
Well, following the announcement of the final results from the Montserrado County District 15 representative by-elections, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf took to her official Twitter page and tweeted, thanking TLIUA for participating in the process for ensuring effective competition in the representative by-election. She also thanked her for conceding the defeat, which is important to the growing democracy in Liberia. To this development now, Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Tuer says government salary harmonization scheme has not been effectuated. It has been speculated that the government, through the Ministry of Finance, has commenced implementation plans to cut salary of civil servants across the country. But Finance Minister Samuel Tuer disclosed that civil servants' salaries have been divided into two components, of which they are receiving 35%, and the remaining 65% USD dollar, that's the US dollar component, is being worked on. He spoke to lawmakers at the Capitol building today.
For the past since the end of the war, the country's wage structure has been growing, and today the wage is at such a point that even all the partners have been complaining that our system is not equitable, and the way the system is designed is that it's arbitrary. So we have a general allowance system, and we have a basic allowance system. So some 43,000 civil servants are on a paid salary, and then some 25,000 Liberians have been on what is called a general allowance, which is where the problem has been. There were attempts to reform this system in the past, but that didn't work. And so as part of this program, we took on the task of saying, let's fix the system, the general allowance system, so that we can bring equity and some standardization to all. The implications of harmonization is that if we're not able to achieve this as a precondition for the program, we may miss the program. And the risk of missing the program, Mr. Speaker, is that there are 60 million funding from partners that we're programming predicated on the IMF program. The new structure, as part of the fiscal reforms that we're rolling out, is moving from paying government workers 80-20% as a way of strengthening the Liberian dollar to 35%, 65%. But majority of the civil servants did not have United States dollar account. So they received their 35%, but the ministries and the entities have been working to get them into the US dollar account. The decision has been made that since they don't have an account, pay them at a rate of 202, not 135. Civil servants were getting paid in last year's budget at a rate of 135. We are paying civil servants at a rate of now 202 to adjust for inflation, so they are receiving 65% of that money, and that money, as we speak, is being paid to civil servants. Technically, it's being paid. So it was not a cut. It's that most of them were already receiving Liberian dollar. They did not have United States dollar account, so this is not part of the harmonization thing. The 35-65 was just because they did not have that account. So it brought some confusion. People received 35%, and they said, oh, they cut my money by 60. That was not true. So as we speak, entities and teachers are receiving that amount. I've been assured by the Controller and Accounting General that those monies are credited to their account.
Well, Minister Tue also explained reasons responsible for the salary delay in the country, stating that the ministry has instituted measures to avoid the late payment of government workers' salary.
When there is 1 month salary delay or 2 month salary delay, there's a tendency to say they have been delayed for 36 months. Sometimes that's how, but that's not true. You are aware that salary were being paid on time. What is happening here is that we passed a budget of 570 million. When you pass a budget of 570 million, it means you gave indications that you're going to have 570 million. When you don't get 570 million but end up at 460, the budget is short by about 120 million or so. That's a problem. Because you have built up expenditure pressure on the consolidated account. So since the budget difficulty was because of that large number, towards the close of the budget year, we began to see that the pressure was piling up. And at the time, we were hoping, you see, the way we pay, the way money goes into the consolidated, it's not that 40 million is sitting at the beginning of the month. Every day, the controller runs the report, 1 million goes in the account. 2 million goes in the account tomorrow. But the way it looks now, when we say 40 million will come and we get 25 or 30, then it means you have to change the rule, which we are now doing in this new budget. So what we say, 60% of every money that goes into the consolidated account is going to be locked up for salary. That's the rule we're operating on now. 60% locked up for salary. We're not touching that money for anything else than to pay people. The other 40% we can do domestic debt, any other thing. So that means going forward, we are protecting salary because of the shocks we have seen quite recently. Until we then begin to see, then we can relax that rule. But going forward under the new budget, which is why harmonization should make sense, salary will be paid on time because we are protecting that consolidated. In fact, the money has been moved to an exclusive salary account, and the rule around it is that no money can move from that account to something else.
Well, Montserrat County District 4 Representative Rostalin Swakoko Dennis has termed the alleged action of government as a total disrespect and reckless. According to her, the government has begun the execution of the harmonization process in total disregard to the rule of law.
The harmonization, I was fortunate today to be in a meeting as I'm just from the United States with the Minister of Finance, and I was shocked to know that he has already implemented the harmonized salary without the consent of the legislature. And I think that's a complete disrespect. It's reckless. It does not reference the rule of law. But however, those are not things that require fighting or pulling. I think it was an error. It can be fixed. Yes, indeed, he spoke well. The PFM law does give him the right to use 1/12 of the budget just once, but there's no law that says you should cut anyone's salary that is a government employee with all the acquiescence of the legislators. So that, in my mind, I felt it was a misstep, and it is a misstep. Luckily, I'll be in the hearing tomorrow, so we could speak to that issue. My point here for the Liberian people is that whether we agree on the harmonization or not, but for the fact that it has not been agreed, whatever that was cut, I think it's important that we rally around, that the people receive the money until the leaders of the country can say, okay, yes, we have agreed for the harmonization policy. So until then, I think the rights of those people, they were violated. One thing we need to understand that in leadership, we all work for the people. So my point here was that, and I just take it as a cover-up. Well, I'm glad that it's a 3565, meaning the money will come. But if people have been paid in Liberian dollar for as much of the time that they have been civil servant, for instance, if I work to a government agency and I've been paid $34,000 every month and I've not been paid United States dollar. So for the fact that you want to pay me 65% of my salary in US dollar and 35 in Liberian dollar, I think the government should have informed the civil servant that this is the new policy and it's going to take effect from the month of June.
Well, with that development coming from Capitol Billy, that's how we go home on this Thursday's edition of KMTV News Today. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Tues says government salary harmonization scheme has not been effectuated as been speculated. National Elections Commission declared CDC candidate Abu Kamara as winner of the District 15 disputed by-election. We say many thanks to you for always joining our news broadcast from across the globe. On behalf of the entire news team here, my name is Anthony Kuko. You can also visit our website at www.kmtvliberia.com for more news and information. Until then, good night.